High on fire? More like you'd have to be high to think that this music is fire. Ha ha! Bada bing, bada boom! Bazinga! I've wrapped this unintentionally around my hand. Not my brightest joke and not my brightest moment. Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today we are talking about the latest studio album from Grammy Award-winning American sludge and stoner and heavy metal crew High on Fire, entitled Cometh The Storm. Who doesn't like High on Fire at this point, honestly? They're like sludge and stoner metal's answer to a band like Motorhead, you know? Their music is fun and filled with burly riffs and menacing drums and like really gruff, gritty, dirty, Lemmy Kilmister-esque vocal assaults. They're super consistent in sound and quality across the board, but don't let that statement fool you into thinking that they're a one-trick pony, that they write the same album over and over again, because that is not the case. High on Fire can be quite versatile at times, you know? One minute it feels like we're drowning in this like deep, dank, swampy, like psychedelic sludge metal, and the next we're getting like razor sharp thrash metal, speed metal, poundings with like soaring melodies and vocals. As a result of all of this, they've become one of the most reliable and one of the best sludge and stoner metal bands over the course of the past 2 decades. They scored a massive win in 2019 with a Grammy Award for Best Metal Performance for a song taken off their previous studio album, Electric Messiah. And after this, High on Fire goes on a mini hiatus of sorts. Everyone kind of goes their separate ways, works on other projects. Matt Pike does Pike vs. the Ottoman. Jeff Matz joins Mutoid Man. Dan Kessel just kind of disappears entirely. For some reason, I don't know what he's up to. I hope he's doing okay. But now, High on Fire is back with Cometh The Storm, their 9th full-length studio album, and their first with drummer Cody Willis, who you may or may not recognize from the Melvins, Big Business, the Murder City Devils. And let's just cut straight to the fucking chase with this one. Cometh The Storm kicks major amounts of ass. One of the most highly anticipated albums of 2024, and it absolutely lives up to that hype. Almost everything that you know and love about High on Fire remains intact on this album. More specifically, though, I would say that this album feels like a fusion of the best, like, writing and production elements and ideas from Deaf Is This Communion and Luminiferous. Like, it's got a pretty crisp, clear, organic, decently well-polished production and sound and feel, but also, you know, there's a little bit of feedback, a little bit of static, a little bit of distortion, the guitars especially, super dank, super crusty, super murky, super heavy. The drums sound massive. The bass has this really, like, earthy, slimy, groovy kind of feel, like it really just kind of digs its way in there. There are a lot of big hooks and melodies, a lot of big, epic, dare I say, even soaring and cinematic moments. Musically, too, this album trades out the scuzzy heavy metal and speed metal of Electric Messiah for some more, like, psychedelic, epic heavy metal and doom metal, while still retaining a lot of the enthusiasm and spirit of Electric Messiah, remarkably. Opening number, Lamb's Bread, wastes absolutely no time getting into some satisfying sludgy pounding. It's very blunt, it's very abrasive. There are some, like, thunderous drum rolls and fills kind of thrown around from time to time, which makes this feel a little bit more powerful and poignant and urgent as well. And the implementation of this kind of, like, Moroccan, Middle Eastern kind of folk music instrumentation of sorts in the latter half of this cut, really cool. Love the kind of, like, meditative, trancey, hypnotic kind of vibes here. I love how it just kind of builds and mounts tension, too, adding some more sludgy riffs and progressions kind of in the middle of this, and, like, some wailing guitars. And then from there, quite seamlessly transitioning into, like, a classic High on Fire heavy metal climax. Love seeing that Moroccan Middle Eastern folk influence pop up again on the instrumental cut Karanlik Yol, which I'm well aware I've probably butchered the pronunciation of. Please don't tell me about it. I know, okay? I know, I get it, alright? I'm a dumb white guy from Canada. Cut me some slack. There are a lot of other well-implemented twists and turns across the record that I really enjoyed as well. The beating, for instance, throws in some more, like, melodic, technical leads, not unlike what we might hear from Jeff Matz's other band, Mutoid Man, in with some, like, really sludgy, crusty, kind of, like, punk rock and hard rock kind of, like, energies and rhythms. And that actually moves really smoothly into the next track, Tough Guy, which is a very primitive, slow-paced, sludgy slugfest of epic proportions. My god, these riffs are fucking beefy. The closing number, Darker Fleece, as well, is a full-blown embrace of, like, nasty, grimy, underground, like, sludge and doom metal, filled with lumbering, lurching grooves and rhythms, some very gruff and monotonous vocal melodies and patterns. There are some really noisy sections with a lot of distortion and static and feedback, and some droning riffs throughout the cut as well, which I thought worked really nicely, helped to provide, like, a really dark, perverse kind of atmosphere and feel to this. And believe it or not, the title track, Cometh The Storm, I would argue, has a bit of a progressive flair and edge to it. And when I say a bit, I don't mean a bit. I mean there is a progressive edge and flair to it. It's not subtle. Like, this thing just feels really big and bold and dark with a lot of different dynamics, a lot of, like, kind of tribal, hypnotic, Tool-esque percussion, and some more colorful, intricate bass work. Vocals initially are quite strained and subdued and have a bit of a psychedelic filter and texture to them, but eventually, you know, as we get into the main chorus, I mean, there is just this unleash of, like, really anguished, agonizing, painful vocal screeching and howling and crying. And the guitar work on here is incredible. I love how simplistic it is at first. I love how it kind of just goes along with whatever the bass is doing, and it kind of creates like this really heavy kind of cloak to put over top of everything else. And then we get these just like totally super ballsy, doomy fucking riffs and some more wild guitar pyrotechnics later on. Like, this song sounds exactly like what the album artwork itself is depicting. It sounds like a cursed ship flying across the heavens, and the sky is orange and red, and there's lightning and dark stormy clouds. Best song on the record, maybe one of the best songs High on Fire have ever done. Holy shit, it's fucking incredible. Tons of other really good stuff here, too. Lightning Beard, for instance, has some sludgy, thrashy riffage that kind of takes me back to Electric Messiah. And then there's Burning Down, which pairs some more, like, epic heavy metal, doom metal songcraft, kind of on par with what I might have heard from The Sword, with some, like, really thick, sludgy tones and some more powerful, agonizing vocals. Love all the, like, really epic, apocalyptic, spiritual lyricism and imagery across the record as well. Gotta say, too, Matt Pike sounds amazing across this record. This is the most varied and powerful and emotive vocal performance he's ever given on any album with any band, let alone High on Fire. I think I'm honestly feeling a 4.5 out of 5. It's an incredible record. It's one of the best things High on Fire have ever done. I love how it's bringing together elements and ideas, specifically, again, from Deaf Is This Communion and Luminiferous. But, you know, it's also still got everything that makes all the other High on Fire records so great. It's got some thrashy elements. It's got some weirder elements. I feel like this is also one of those rare metal albums that can appeal to a bunch of different types of metalheads at the same time. Like, if you want to sit down and really analyze this thing and, like, really dissect all of the different lyrics and time changes and progressions and influences, you can do that. I mean, this thing's got just as much brain as it does brawn. Speaking of brawn, if you just want to go fucking ape shit, if you want to go stupid, if you want to mosh and headbang, you can definitely do that too. If you want to get stoned and just kind of zone out and hang out and chill out, you can definitely do that too. All I have to say is it wouldn't shock me if this won High on Fire another Grammy. 4.5 out of 5, a seriously incredible record. Definitely check it out. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I am not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately in case you weren't getting them already. Join us on Discord. Pick up some merch on Redbubble. Boom, reviewing every High on Fire album. Boom, something else. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.